Good afternoon. I have two hands to review. Hand number one is Ace Jack of Spades. So we have mid position player raises. He raises 2.2. That's a pretty small raise. It's probably a little bit closer to maybe a tournament size open raise. And it gets to me. So first up is, what do we think he's going to be raising here? He may be making that his standard size. That's a possibility. He is playing 23-14. His raise first in from mid position is 21%. Raise first in from cutoff is only 5%, but that's 21 hands. So he's probably, well, I was going to say he's probably positionally oriented, but it doesn't look like it. It looks like he just plays a regular standard set of hands. So I'm going to say that he's probably at about 20% of hands open raising. That is 20, that's 22%. I want to include ace 2. I want to include those pocket pairs. Let's take that out. Let's see if I have any more stats on him. Nope, not really. So if we assume that his raise is standard, I think we would probably include something like this. I think that's 21.3. It took out some of those Broadways. We'll give him the connectors. If we think that 2.2 is indicative of something a little bit weaker, then maybe we can get rid of some of these bigger cards. And say that we think he would have raised to a larger size. I don't know what his standard raise size is. I didn't take notes, so I think we're just gonna say maybe he's just playing tournament type poker, and that's his regular raise. So now it's to us. What should we do? Ace Jack is playable. If we look at the players behind us, none of them really have a high call to bet percentage. They don't look overly loose. 3-bet. A 3-bet might be a little bit high. This is 9%, 2 out of 23. Yeah, 9 deceiving. It's only 23 attempts. This is 10%, so 5 out of 52. That's a little bit better. He's 6%, 5 out of 83. I think they're probably going to be raising with more of their premium holdings, and with us having an ace and a jack, we end up blocking a lot of those things. So I'm not going to worry too much about players here squeezing if I just call. I think if we raise, we definitely isolate. And if we raise, his fold to 3-bet is 20%. So I think he probably gets rid of some of these suited connectors, maybe some of these offsuits. Raising is definitely an option, and it gives us the lead in the hand. I chose to call. I guess it could go either way, calling or raising, and everyone folds. So it is heads up here. So let's get Ace Jack of Spades here to see where we stand. So you can see we're ahead here, ahead of that his entire range. Well, not his entire range, but we're ahead at least half of his range here. Flop comes 10 high. Actually, it is good flop for us, even though we don't really hit it. We have a gut shot, but that flop is going to hit the caller's range a lot harder than pre-flop raiser's range. So when you look at the hand, yeah, raiser could have the hearts. He could have a 9, 10-9 and everything else, but we're going to have those same ones in our range, and it makes a little bit more sense for us to actually call with those hands, or it's expected that we call with those hands a bit more. So he checks, and I think that's kind of interesting. His c-bet stats are actually pretty low, 45% when in position, 27% out of position. His turn c-bet's 33%. it could he I'd like to say that he's tight and that's why he doesn't c bet, but I don't think that's the case. He's got a range here. I think he probably restricts his c bets to only hands that have some equity. So I'm going to say he's probably not going to c bet any of his draws here. He's probably only going to c bet these top pair hands, maybe pocket pair below top pair with the nines. So that's 28.6% out of position. I think that's going to be his c bet range. Now what he didn't c bet, so let's get those hands out. Say we have middle pair, bottom pair, pocket pair below the board, no made hands. Have all of those hands. I think the flush draw, open and straight draw, the one card open and straight draw, we'll give the gut shots in there. I think the overcards, 2-card backdoors, all have them. So that's okay. We are including like 10 in there, so like 10-9 should be in there. And I kind of think he would be c-betting those. But I think we'll be able to select them out. Hopefully we can select them out going forward. So that's his checking range. We're at 44% right here. I think if we bet here, we're going to get him to fold all of these no made hands. I think we're going to be having him fold out, so he checked 78%, and then I think we're going to get him to fold that out, pocket pair below the board, probably bottom pair. I think we're going to be getting him to fold at least half of the range that he checked. So it makes sense to go ahead and fire out a bet, because I do think that's going to be an auto profit spot. I checked, and I think that's kind of a mistake. I think maybe I was thinking that, well, if I bet, nothing's really going to call, and we have an opportunity to spike a 9, but I don't like that. I think we have the opportunity to take down almost a 6 big blind pot. We should go ahead and do that. Turn was a 5 of diamonds. That results in this player betting, and he bet fairly big, 4.4. So now we have to think about, what does he have? What would he bet now? I think the straight, straight shouldn't have been there. So Jack 9. The set, so I do think he could have a set now, possibly 2 pair. The over pair with jacks, I'm going to take that out, because I don't think he would have had those. The 2 pair hand, the top pair hand, Jack 10, 10-9. No, I think those would have been betting. Pocket pair below top card, I kind of thought those would have been betting too. So we don't want to include those. I don't think middle pair is going to be betting. The weaker pairs are going to be betting. I mean, maybe. But I think he had the opportunity to bet at this time. And I think he probably should have taken advantage of that. I don't think, maybe the flush draws are now going to bet. He could. But, if he's betting him now, why didn't he bet him before? So I do think he's probably got something. Let's give him all of these middle pairs too. So the 8s. So 9-8, 8-6, ace-8. I think that could be realistic. Maybe not the ace-8, but 8-6 has now picked up an open-ended straight draw. The weak pairs, are we going to include all of the weak pairs? No, I don't think so. So that kind of leaves these open-ended straight draws. And we're gonna have to select them out. So 9s we said wasn't gonna be there. 10-9 wasn't gonna be there. I think that's what we want. So we're looking at that kind of range, and against that kind of range, you can see we're only 26%. That's pot odds are giving us 30%. Our equity is only 26. I think we should just fold here. Really, we have 2 overcards. We're drawing to the straight, and we could already be behind. He could have, 6s. Could have, I doubt 6-4, but could have 6s for the open-ended straight draw. His pair already beats us, so we're going to have to hit. I raised, and I think that's kind of, I'm going to say it's an interesting play, but I think it's a wrong play. I should have bet on the flop. Because really, what am I representing here? Am I representing a 6-4? Am I representing a 9-6? I really don't think so. I think am I representing pocket fives? Maybe. Am I representing sevens, eights, or tens? Mm. Again, you ask yourself, why wouldn't I have bet on the flop? I mean, I have a hand. Why would I want to give, a heart draw a free chance to get there? So right now, it's just kind of looking at, what am I betting here? What am I raising here? Maybe I have, 5-6, bottom pair with open and a straight draw. That's probably the most likely hand that I have. I don't think 10-9 or 9-8 has it. So I don't really like the bet, and really the bet's not even that big. I made it to 10 big blinds. If I'm going to make a bet here, I've got to make it bigger and really apply pressure, because he only has to call, 5.6 big blinds. That's not super large. I don't like the bet. He calls. I'm going to say he calls with everything. Middle pair, I think still he's calling because he has the cut shot, and then 3 hearts gets there. And really, would I have really bet with a heart draw at this point? I don't think so. He checks. I don't think we should check. I think we should just see the river and hope maybe we have the ace high wins it. So I'm glad I didn't make that mistake, and he shows ace 10, which is surprising. I didn't have the 10 in there. He bets. I think though, if we bet on the flop, he's going to call. If he check raises, we could just be done with the hand. But we bet on the flop. The 5, I think, improves our range, because we could possibly have. Well, I don't think the 5 improves our range. We could fire 2 streets. We could fire the flop. We could fire the turn. Maybe he'll fold, because again, 7-8's in our range, 10-8's in our range, and possibly the hearts. He has the ace of hearts, so I think there was ways to pick it up. I don't like that turn bet. So where did I go wrong? It went wrong back on this flop. I assumed he wasn't. He would have c-bet his top pair. Obviously, he didn't. So maybe he c-bets, 10 jack, and not c-bets ace 10. Top pair, top gear. I would have thought he'd protect his hand a little bit. But at the same time, I am going to call a lot, so he has the opportunity to check now and possibly induce, a call from 9-8 or 7-9, or even, 7-6. All right, I don't like this hand. Let me close it up and get hand number 2. Hand number 2 is a suited Broadway. Ace Queen of Spades. So villain 12 raises to 2.5. It's a little bit better raise. He's playing 24-16. We don't have a whole lot. We do have his 3-bet range, includes ace 10 off, queen jack suited, ace king off. His 4-bet range is 7s. So he's playing middle position here, technically. His raise first in's 14%. He's probably playing somewhat tight. And you can see his raise first in really loosens up in the cutoff on the button. So I think with him, we said 14%. Let's get some of these other ones in. Probably all pocket pairs. Maybe the ace 10 off. That's 14.6. That's a pretty solid range. Pretty top heavy range here with the pocket pairs. We have ace queen, so we have to figure out what we're going to do with this. So against that range, you can see we're about 50% here, 50-50. If we call, we keep all of these hands in his range, the ace jack, ace 10, ace 9. That probably pays us off at least 1, maybe 2 streets for value. If we raise, he's probably getting rid of some of those. So his fold to pre-flop 3-bet after raise is only 16%. He's only had, six times he's been faced with that. It's possible that if we raise, he's just going to call his entire range. But I do think, if this is his range, coming from a cutoff position, he might end up folding some of these hands. So raising is definitely on the table. Do we have to raise? No. I don't think any of these players represent players that are likely to call. They're all playing fairly tight. Their call two bets are the highest is 13%. Now, we don't have a whole lot of hands here, but right now they are kind of gearing up to be tight. This guy's probably going to be tight. This guy's probably going to be somewhat of a tight passive. This is like a tight aggressive type of player, so I'm not going to be too worried about getting squeezed here if I just call. If I 3-bet, we do have the possibility of getting him all in, of him shoving. He has 40 big blinds. If we raise, we're raising to, let's say, 9 or 10 big blinds. Let's just say 10 big blinds. He calls. There's 20 in the pot. He has 32 left. That gives us 1.5 SPR. I think if we flop an ace or a queen, if we flop a top pair, we're probably going to be committed and just go with it based on that stack to pot size. I chose a call. Again, kind of like the last hand, it could possibly call. We could raise. I chose to call, and then the big blind called. So what I'm going to do is add a second player here. Say, what could this guy be calling? He is looking like he is more of a tighter player, 17-12 from the big blind. He's only played 8%, 11%. I think he is going to be pretty tight. So let's see if I have his 3-bet range, ace king. He could be something like that. 8% just looking to set mine here with ace queen, king queen coming along. And that means we really have we have to hit a pair, but with all of these pocket pairs, we're gonna get a lot of folds. He's not gonna hit his trips that often. So we do flop a top pair hand, queen, queen of diamonds, 6 of diamonds, and 2 of clubs. Villain 9 checks. I'm gonna guess he'd check with his entire range, and his range basically on that range says that if he has top pair 30% of the time, we can get, actually we should correct that, we have ace queen. Yeah, we got ace queen. I wish they showed our hand. So, taking out the ace queen, you can see top pair is only 21%, set is 9%. So if we think about, what hands he's going to call, I've got 32% of the time he's going to call. Not a whole lot. So he'll be folding 68. This guy bets. And the question is, what is he going to c-bet with? So right now, out of those hands, 10 out of 10 times he has c-bet, and I'm going to say he c-bets his entire range, just his 100%, his entire range, and that's going to include everything from junk hands all the way, to possibly set. Now it's on us. What should we do? I think we can call because I don't anticipate this guy calling. I think if we raise, we're only going to be getting called by probably, we split ace queen hands, but I really don't think he's going to be calling. He's going to fold out. I think he's going to fold out to this 2.2 or 2.5 big blinds just as much as if he folded out to, let's say, a raise to 10 big blinds. So I do think that bet's going to get him to fold, and I think we could justify the fold. I raised, and I don't think I raised because of this guy. I don't think I was raising to get a heads up. I think I was raising in response to this guy at c-betting 100%. Is that a good bet? I think it helps define our hand because I think he's going to fold out now all of these no-made hands, probably the bottom pair, pocket pair below, second cards, middle pair. I think we're going to get him, possibly to call with the middle pair just once. He didn't bet very big. He bet, a quarter pot. So he might call with 7, 8s, 9s, 10 jacks and hopes to spike a set. Flush draw, he's calling. What about all of these combos, flush draw and overcards? We'll leave them in, but we're looking at, we bet, and I think we're kind of getting, maybe 54.4% to call. And against that range, we're actually doing pretty good against it. And I think that's probably why I was raising, is to take initiative and to build a pot with my top pair ace. Villain 9 folds, which again, I'm going to say I think he's going to fold even to that 2.2. That 2.5 big blind. So, what is he going to call with? I think that's kind of his calling, and that may be optimistic. Even the 7 to 10 he might not call. So, if he's only calling top pair plus, flush draw, that combo draw, we're at 40% here because he has these overpairs in his range. And the question is, would he bet that small with his overpair or with the sets? I don't know. Some players do. I mean, some players look at a quarter size bet, but I don't think so. I think sets and overpairs are going to probably be betting larger. So top pair type hand is what I'm thinking. He calls, so we're gonna have him call there, and then the dreaded 3 of diamonds hits, and I think that just really stinks because that increases the chance that he actually has a flush draw. We don't block it. He checks. I think he's gonna check his entire range. I think if we bet, he's probably gonna call flush in the top pair. Does he call with a nut flush draw? Yeah, I think the nut flush, if he has a lone diamond, would he call with a king of diamonds? Yeah, probably too. So I think if we bet, he's still going to be calling basically his entire range. And at this point, we're at 38%. So I think we should just check behind. I'm glad I checked. I just don't see worse hands calling if I bet here. And then 8 of spades comes out, and he checks, and I think that's the greatest thing. I think he could have put us in a load of hurt if he bet out, because now we're going to have to guess, do we call? And I don't think we bet half pot. I think if he bets pot, bets 26, we can look at it. I have to call 26 to win 52. All right, so I have to win 50% of the time. I'm getting 50%, pot odds if he bets pot. Right? Yeah. 20. I have to call 26 to win. Yeah, I'm getting 2 to 1. 2 to 1, sorry. So 26 over the 56 plus, or the 52 plus 20, my own call. So a pot size bet, I have to have 33% equity. I would be getting 56% equity, but the question is, do I really have 56% equity? Would he really do that with all of his top pair, or would he be checking a big part of the time with, let's say, ace queen and king queen? So if we took out ace queen king queen, because those are his calling hands, saying he's got some equity. All right, but he's going to be betting here with his flush. I'm only at 28%. So, thinking about that, he can bet, and he can get a lot of folds from me. If he does this, as a bluff too, I think I'd probably be folding. So he checks, and I think, again, here, the only cards that are going to call me are going to be ones that beat me. Maybe king queen calls, maybe, but I doubt it. So I think over here we just check behind, see the river, and he shows ace jack a diamond. So I think we gave him a chance to catch that diamond, but I think we already had the diamond draw calling, because I don't think ace jack was really going to be in his range. I really didn't think so. I mean, I raise, and we basically said he's calling with a back 2-card backdoor flush draw. Uh, 2-card backdoor flush draw. We should also have 1-card backdoor flush draw here, so the ace of diamonds. But he's calling with, the ace jack. Let's figure out where my ace jacks are. So if I called there, I mean, it's possible he's calling with all of his aces here. And then probably definitely calling with that, and probably the middle pair, pocket pair. So you're looking at calling with that 61.8%. 3 diamonds hits. Oops, 3 diamonds hits, and he checks again. And the question is, what are we going to get? I already said he's going to call with his nut flush draw, but is he going to call? I think he'll call with that nut flush draw. Is he going to call on the river? I think we get 2 streets that, either the turn or the river if we bet. So while it looks good, I kind of think maybe I should have bet. And I think if I was going to bet, maybe it's supposed to be on the turn. But I'm trying to think, how do I maximize my win? Not necessarily how do I win the pot. I mean, with top pair, top kicker, I have to assume that he would have called with the lone ace of diamonds. And I don't think that's true. I don't think most players do that. So I think I'm okay with how I played this hand. All right. If you like this, look tomorrow for a couple more hands.